You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Calvin Kattar takes on Youssef Zalal this Saturday in the co-main event of UFC Fight Night Las Vegas, and this is a banger of a co-main event. Calvin Kattar always comes to fight. Really good stand-up, a lot of power. Fighting out of Boston, Massachusetts. Been in the UFC for a while now, about 7 or 8 years. Had a lot of fun fights there, a lot of good wins. Only losing to really the elite of the elite. Renato Moicano, Zabit Magomedsharipov, Max Holloway, Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, Aljamain Sterling. So really only losing to top contenders, title challengers, and former champions. Youssef Zalal really having a career resurgence ever since he came back to the UFC. He's only 28 years old, but he started in the UFC back when he was 24, I think. Yeah, back in 2020. Had 3 decision wins, so wasn't, was winning fights, but not really making a splash, making a real name for himself. Comes up against a lesser known guy named Ilia Topuria, if you've ever heard of him. Lost a decision to him, which in hindsight's really good, not getting finished by Topuria. Lost to Sungwoo Choi, not a great look. And then lost a split decision to Sean Woodson, which again, Sean Woodson's really good. We're seeing how he's developing as a fighter in the UFC. After that, goes to a majority decision with Damon Blackshear, who's on kind of a run right now. So UFC cuts him, goes on a very good streak outside of the UFC. 3 finishes, comes back, finishes Billy Quarantino, Jarno Aarons, and Jack Shore, all by finish since he came back to the UFC. I think Youssef Zalal is a former title challenger to Ilia Topuria, so I think that he beats Calvin Kattar in this one. I think that he is a very good striker, but I also think he has a very good ground game. I think he's very well-rounded for this division, similar to Ilia Topuria. Calvin Kattar, very good striker, tough as nails. We've seen that in a lot of his fights, like his fight with Max Holloway. No quitting the guy. Primarily a striker, though. I know he's got a wrestling background, but doesn't really have a jiu-jitsu background, and suffers in the grappling area at times. Like, we saw in his last fight against Aljamain Sterling was just constantly controlled. Only a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't know how you're 36, but in the UFC for 8 years and only have a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. But I think that's where he's going to struggle in this fight. I think that Youssef Zalal could beat him in a purely striking affair, but I think he's going to mix it up because it is mixed martial arts, and he knows the glaring gap that there is in Kattar and the advantage that he has there. Like I said, Kattar got dominated by Aljamain Sterling. Hurt his knee against Arnold Allen. I hate to see knee injuries from somebody who's 34, 35, essentially past their prime, taking serious injuries like that. So he was out for a year and a half, 2 years, came back, lost to Sterling. Before that, lost to Josh Emmett. I think he's too one-dimensional against somebody like Giga Chikadze, who's got knockout power, who's an elite kickboxer, but also can do it all. Great takedown defense. If he gets you to the ground, he's looking to sub you, he's looking to finish you. So he's a finisher everywhere this fight goes. Calvin Kattar just doesn't really have the momentum that he's used to having in his career. Coming off of 3 losses, hasn't won since, it's going to be 3 years since his last win. Kind of in the twilight of his career. Going to be 37 in 2 months. Just gonna be hard to build back into any title considerations at this point. So I'm gonna go with Youssef Zalal to win this fight. I think that I don't think that he finishes Kattar. I think Kattar's gonna be I think that he can get dominated on the ground. I don't see him getting caught in a choke, and I don't see him getting finished by Youssef Zalal, even though he's really good striking. So I'm gonna go with Youssef Zalal to win this by decision and kind of continue his ascent at 145. The odds have Kattar at a +310 and Youssef Zalal at a -400 favorite. So huge favorite in this. I can see that just the way that Kattar's looked in the past and how we've seen Youssef Zalal as of late. So let me know what you guys think. But I think Kattar's got a puncher's chance in this, but I don't think he's going to hurt Youssef Zalal and get him out of there or KO him. Zalal, never been finished, only lost by decisions, and never really seen him get rocked, honestly. So let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you watching.